Welcome to the VBAC Homebirth Stories podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Winning, founder of the Motherhood Circle and creator of the Journey into Motherhood program. I'm a mother of 3 and have had 2 unplanned and unneeded C-sections and had a calm and positive vaginal home birth, free birth, with our 3rd baby who is 4.5 kilos or 10 pounds. My own journey has sparked a deep passion to support women to find their strength and support to create the pregnancy, birth and postpartum you desire and deserve. This podcast is for women wanting to learn more about VBACs, especially home births, and professionals who want to learn more about how to support home birthing women. Inside, we're going to hear from women sharing their stories from surgical birth to achieving their vaginal home birth after cesarean, as well as expert interviews so that you have a mix of inspiring stories as well as powerful knowledge. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode on the VBAC Homebirth Stories podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Winning, and today we're going to be talking about how you can find the best doula for you and your personality and temperament, and also some things to consider when you're looking at interviewing or finding someone as well. So if you didn't listen to my last episode with finding a midwife, I recommend that you go check it out because there's so many questions in that episode that you can go back to, and also a lot of information in regards to temperament and personality. But I'll touch base over some of these before so that you don't miss out on anything, but the other one's going to have a lot more information. But what you really want when you're looking at getting a home birth doula to support you through your pregnancy and your birth is you want somebody that obviously you're going to connect with, somebody who you feel safe and supported, who you feel heard by, someone who makes you feel the way that you want to feel. So everyone's going to want something different from that doula. So what I recommend is writing down a few things and exploring, why am I hiring a doula? What do I want from a doula? You may be just hiring a doula because everyone recommends that you hire a doula, but you're not really sure. Maybe you want somebody who's going to support your you through pregnancy and through the birthing experience on the day. Maybe you would like somebody to be more hands-on during the birth experience. So you want somebody who's going to help out with setting up your birthing environment, or making sure that all your physical needs are met on the day by bringing you water, holding your hand, helping your partner, and also looking after your children, helping any logistical sort of things that are happening. So really have a think about why you would like to have a doula present. Once you know the reason why you want a doula, think about your temperament and your personality and what sort of support and things that you want from your doula. So do you want somebody who is knowledgeable around birth, who believes in birth, who's very experienced in holding space for women in birth, in hospital births or home births? And I say that hospital birth versus home birth, I recommend, if you're going to get someone, you want to get someone with specialist experience. Like if I'm looking for a doula, if I'm going to have a free birth, I want to find someone with experience in free birth. I'm not saying that somebody without experience in free birth isn't going to be a great support person on the day. I'm just saying that when I look for somebody, I'm looking for certain things. I'm looking for someone with experience. I'm looking for somebody who's been around that type of birth that I want to have, or maybe it's a relationship that I'm looking for, that I have a relationship with that person, that doula, but maybe the relationship also happens with the midwife. So maybe the doula works with that midwife that I've selected and my midwife recommended her to me. There are so many different reasons or ways that you can find that that's the reason why you've chosen your doula, and obviously it'll come more naturally for you. But just have a think about those things. You don't want to choose someone just because they work well with your midwife. I mean, it obviously helps, but what's more important is that you connect with that person and that you feel safe with that person. You feel that they know what they're talking about, that they're going to provide you with the things that you need through your pregnancy. So for my free birth, I wanted somebody who was going to be able to provide me with the emotional support that I needed through that journey. And I wanted somebody who had the hands-on experience of free birth, which meant that they had been present at free birth. And I also wanted somebody who'd had a free birth. I felt that having someone who had gone through the process themselves and also experienced and been present at other people's free births. That was what I was looking for. And I also wanted someone to support me through the pregnancy, because that was a really big, I think that the whole thing about having a doula is having that support. I found personally myself that I wasn't supported, even though I had that conversation up front with the doula, and it was yes, I can do that, I can do that. I felt, and my husband felt, that we were just told a lot of things up front, and that wasn't necessarily delivered. Obviously, you can only go as far as asking that person and seeing what their responses are. And if they confidently tell you and they're confident in what they're saying to you and they know what they're talking about, then you're going to feel confident yourself. I would recommend, if you do have a doula and you're not gelling with them, or they're not delivering on the promises that they have, or a midwife, that you have a conversation with them if possible, and let them know that you're not feeling supported, that you would, prefer that they reach out to you. Sometimes they can get a little bit busy, midwives and doulas, whether they take on too much of a workload, they've got a sub business that's happening, they've got a lot of children, a lot of health issues happening, who knows. It's always good to kind of open that door and have that conversation, because what can happen is it can fester and you can have a bit of a relationship breakdown between the two of you, and what you've hired them to do no longer is what you're actually able to do, because you feel like you're guarded. You don't feel like you can talk to them or trust them or get the things. You just don't feel like you're worthy of taking up their time. So you really want to kind of open that door and have that relationship with them. So even if you ask all the questions, you may end up with somebody that you don't align with because of their personality as well, or their temperament. So they may tick all these boxes, but you find along the way that they are a bit of a hard ass. I know I was asked, can I just give it to you straight? Can I tell you, when you need to be a bit more tougher or whatever, and that give you a bit of tough love, I was asked. And I'm glad that she asked that question, because she was asking for my consent. And I said to her, hell no. No. Like, I am very vulnerable in pregnancy. I'm sick. I have the thing is, at the end of the day, is like, everyone's got their temperament, right? Everyone's got their personality. So people work in different ways. You have people who are older, who are more confident, who may be more direct, and they've had their babies a long time ago, so they don't still have that nurturing side to them. And then you've got people who are like nurturing till they take their last breath when they're 102 years old. If you want someone nurturing, I suggest you go look for somebody who's really nurturing and caring and going to pander and give you all the things that you want and has the experience and the things that you're after as well. Otherwise, you might find yourself with somebody that's got a completely different temperament that just isn't going to gel with your personality and temperament either, which is what I found with in my experience. And it wasn't her fault necessarily. We obviously have a very different view on the way that you would practice and things that you would do. And I felt that by opening the door and having that communication was really setting myself up. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I expect. I've communicated that enough. And I didn't feel like it was my job or role to have to kind of re-communicate that time and time again. But I do think it's worth having those conversations. And if it doesn't kind of pick up, then you can actually find somebody else who does suit you a little bit more. But at least you've done the very best that you can do. So temperament and personality are really, really, really important. And experience, if you're looking for somebody with experience, I really recommend that you have somebody who does have experience as a doula. You don't want somebody who is going to be training on your watch, who is overexcited and, oh my God, I can't believe I'm at a home birth, or I can't believe I'm at a free birth, or oh my God, I'm seeing my first VBAC. I mean, that's great if that's what you want, if you want to, if that makes you feel good and you're having someone. But the whole reason I wanted to have a doula is I wanted somebody more experienced than me. So it's really hard to navigate a relationship with somebody if you feel that you have more information or knowledge about a subject matter than that person, if they don't have the same life skills or more than you as well. So if you're a mature person and you feel that you work better with an older personality, like an older person, maybe in their 60s, like a grandma kind of person, look for somebody like that. Or maybe you're like a bit of a young new soul and you want somebody a bit younger. and that's your vibe. You've got to also look at the maturity level as well and make sure that their maturity and their experience suits you as well. I had a student midwife in my pregnancy, and I had a student doula in my VBAC pregnancy with my second. And I would 100% make those same decisions again. I think that they both gave value. I don't know that if I was having free birth, I definitely wouldn't have a student doula at my free birth. But if I was having a midwife with me who was, I was getting most of my support with, and I wanted to kind of help a student doula, I felt like an extra set of hands was helpful, then I would look at, a student doula in that capacity. But I'd probably be looking at it as, more how am I helping them rather than how much are they helping me. And while I think it's really important to help people and for people to have a chance to get experience, I am not sure I would make that choice after my personal experience and hearing stories from other women as well. So just have a think about that as well, because I know that so many people are so quick to jump on like, oh, I've got to have a doula at my birth. Think about what it means. Why do you want a doula? What will it mean if you have a doula? What are they going to add? What value are they going to add? What sort of experiences have they had? What sort of life experiences have they had? Am I going to respect this person? Am I going to feel supported by this person? Just really kind of think about it. And then more importantly, without thinking about the logistics of it all, sit with it. How do you feel around that person? Do you feel comfortable with them? Do they, align with you? Do you have the same ethos? And, the last thing you want is somebody who's highly medicalized coming into your birth and you don't want, or somebody, here's one for doulas. If you're having a home birth, so when I had a hospital birth, there's a whole thing like doulas can help you get into positions, and doulas can help you get into birthing positions, and they can help your labor go quicker, and all these stats and everything about how having a doula can make the birth go quicker and all this sort of stuff. In a home birth, you don't need to have somebody who's going to help you into positions, because you're probably going to want to have a physiological birth or an instinctive birth, because that's the safest option for you to have at home. You do not want somebody to tell you or dictate how you're going to birth, what position to get into, to stand on your head, to jiggle your belly, whatever it is. You might want some of those things, but you want to have a think about what some of those things are. Some doulas are going to be very hands-on because they feel like they have to be involved. They want to solve a problem. They want to help you. They want to feel needed. They want to feel loved, la, 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 la. Just like a really good midwife, and like I talked about in the last episode, if you have a really good doula, she will know when it's time that she needs your support and help. My doula was pretty fantastic on the day, I will say, and I was really glad to have her support on the day. She held space really well. Her energy was really calm. She was older, so she was more experienced. She'd had a free birth before. And I'm not going to say that it was a perfect experience, because nobody's perfect and everyone's still learning, and we're trying to get to the place where we want to be this like amazing experienced person. But it was a great experience. She just had all the things that I needed in my, when I wanted to hold her hand, she was there holding my hand. When I needed some encouragement, she was there to encourage me. And those are the things that you want with your doula. And when I had my hospital birth, my doula, she's become one of my bestest friends now, that doula from my hospital birth. We went to school together and we hadn't spoken for so many years, and she's the most beautiful soul. She did my mother's blessing for me. And if you're on the Gold Coast and you want a mother's blessing, DM me, slide into my DMs on Instagram, because I can set you up with her. She's the most beautiful, amazing woman. She also does shamanic healing. So if you're into shamanic healing for your birth trauma, please do send me a message, because she's like, everyone who meets her that are my friends, and then they go on to meet her, they just say, oh, there's something so special about her. There's something so magical about her. And I say, yeah, she's just the most magical being. I was so honored to have her as my student doula, and for her to be my advocate, like through my pregnancy. I could bitch and moan and talk to her about all my issues and my problems. And she was just so loving and nurturing. And on my birthing day, she was there in whatever capacity I needed. She was just floating around in the background, and I locked myself in the shower, and she'd just come in, "Are you all right, love? Like, do you need some ice?" And I was like, "No, rack off," whatever I was going through my moment. But that's what you want when you're looking for a doula. You want somebody who's going to support you in the capacity that you need on the day. Some doulas can be really hands-on and too much with the practical side of things. So have a think about what exactly you want from a doula and how they're going to support you. Also, the last thing you want to do is talk to people who have hired that doula before and had them at their birth. You want somebody who's got recommendations from other women, and then just chat to them. Because I had a chat with some women who had certain doulas, and I said, "Oh, how do you feel about this?" And they said, "Well, I probably wouldn't have had her because this, and this happened, or I probably wouldn't have, if I went over again, I didn't need her." And then I say, "Why do you feel that you didn't need her?" And then she'll give her examples, and I can say, "Okay, well, what was, was she supportive through pregnancy?" And, it's really good to hear it through other people's eyes. What may suit somebody else may not suit you at all. So they might recommend somebody, but you might think, "No, that's not the recommendation for me." And you can do that by asking inquisitive questions and asking why, and then working out if that suits you at all, So these are some things for you to have a think about. I hope that it's given you some real good insight into, some questions and things to think about when it comes to having a doula. Think about the type of birth you want. If you're having a free birth, you want to look at having an experienced free birth doula or birth worker. And if you're having one with a midwife, you want somebody who's had experience around home births at least a couple under their belt. Otherwise, you can go into it with, a brand new student doula, because you'll have your midwife and you might feel comfortable and confident doing that as well. I hope that I gave you a lot of things to think about. And if you've got any questions, please do slide into my DMs, Ashley L. Winning, and I will put it in the box underneath the description box, so you can head to my Instagram page. If you have some topics you would like me to discuss, or if you have a story you would like to share on the podcast, please do let me know. I would love to connect with you and get to know you and support you through this journey as well. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will be in touch with the next episode soon. Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the VBAC Homebirth Stories podcast. I hope that this episode has helped you take another step to finding your voice and confidence in your VBAC Homebirth journey. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to help more women to find out more about VBAC Homebirth, just like you. Don't forget to take a screenshot, share it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at the Motherhood Circle. I'll see you next time.